Hey y'all, welcome to our channel. My name is Tracy and I'm the keeper of the home here at 4D Farms, where we are all about faith, family, home, and farm, and in that order. And we're kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So y'all just come on in, grab a seat, take a look, and have a listen, because you don't want to miss a thing. Hey y'all, welcome to today's video. As y'all can see, we are going to process some more tomatoes today. We grow tomatoes every year or every other year, depends on when we need to grow them, to process into pasta sauce, pizza sauce, enchilada sauce, salsa, roasted tomatoes, just diced tomatoes to put in soups and stews. We do so many things with our tomatoes, and there is so many different ways that you can process tomatoes. You can, and we've done it. I have one video where I'm processing tomatoes one year where I took the time to scald them and take the skins off and then process them and turn them into sauce. And then I have another video where we used my KitchenAid food meal attachment onto my KitchenAid stand mixer, milled all these through there from a frozen state, and then ran them through that food meal, and then turned around, poured it in a roasting pan, simmered them down overnight, turned those into pasta. Well, we grew a different tomato this year, and we're going to try something even different. These are San Marzanos. We go to an Italian restaurant at a place where my husband goes to work, and y'all, we love that restaurant because they make their pasta sauce using these tomatoes and from scratch right there in the kitchen. And then we discovered that these tomatoes have the least amount of acid in them, which is perfect for my husband, pre-diabetic. If y'all know anything about pre-diabetics, not only do they have to battle with their sugar, but they can battle other things like gout and things like that. Any kind of acidic food can disturb gout and flare it up. So we got to researching these tomatoes and their low acidity already, and we're like, you know what, this may be the perfect thing. So we grew this year all these tomatoes in our arrow garden, and I mean, they just, well, my mother did. She started them out in our arrow gardens back in the winter time to have them ready for us in the spring, because we were going on a work trip. And y'all, you've seen all of the garden videos and how they flourished and what they look like, and they were over my head. Well, y'all, every day we've been getting pickings like this, a 5-gallon bucket, and getting pickings like this. And I'm like, okay, I don't have enough up at one time. I could have done little bitty small increments of batches, but with so many other things going on, okra coming in, peppers coming in, I'm like, you know what, I need to take these and just start saving them up till I get enough gallons to process and put in my roasting pan, and then just take a day of it, okay? Canning pasta sauce. So that's what we've been doing. So what I'm going to do is San Marzanos, y'all. You do not, they're like an Amish paste. You do not have to take the peelings off of these because they don't hold a lot of acid. They're very flavorful. These peelings, like an Amish paste, will also thicken up your tomato sauce and give it a little extra flavor. So that cuts out a step. I'm just going to go through, inspect these tomatoes, look for any bad spots, cut them off, cut the little tips off. Then I'm going to, y'all, put them in Ziploc bags. It's okay. You can save these up until you get a big batch and do a big batch pasta making one day, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to go through these tomatoes, and I am going to cut them in half or whatever, because these are going into the freezer. What's going to happen next is when it's time for me to get ready to make this pasta, I will take them out of the freezer the night before and let every one of these bags thaw out. That morning, I will open these bags up, get all that extra water out of there, which cuts down on your simmering time and your roasting time, because you're going to get a lot of that extra water out when they're defrosted. Then we're going to dump these all in a roasting pan and we're going to process these. So we're going to, I'm just going to include that in this whole video, y'all. So this will be a video of roasting tomatoes a different way to give you another option. So this first part of this is just going to be inspecting. They're already washed. Inspecting, cutting in half, putting in Ziploc bags, putting them in the freezer, okay? So I've already got some going. I'm just going to look around for spots, get those little stem parts off. A lot of your tomato is not wasted. Pluck. We're going to go through this whole thing just like this. You don't have to watch me. I'm just going to do a couple, okay? Plop, okay? So we're going to get these into Ziploc bags. They're going to go in the freezer. When it's that roasting time day or that morning, that night, I will take every one of these out of the bag or out of the freezer. Put them in the sink, or it depends on how many I have, in the bathtub, and let them defrost overnight. And then the next part of this video, okay, y'all. The next part of this video, I'm not cutting that out. The next part of this video, I know, bloopers, right? We should have a reel just of bloopers, like, take two. Okay. So, we're going to do, where was I forgot. See, there's another blooper. Okay, anyway, then we will take these out of the bags the next morning, put them in the roasting pan, and then we'll show y'all what we're going to do next, okay? Let me show y'all how many I got in the freezer so far. Y'all take a walk with me. This is how many I have in the freezer so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 gallons already. 6 gallons. And I'm probably going to have about another 2 gallons. So, yeah, I'm going to have about 8 gallons to defrost and then throw in a roasting pan. And then we will show y'all the next step in another clip. So this will be one whole video. I'm going to get these processed, get them in Ziploc bags, get them in the freezer. I probably won't show you me pulling them out of the freezer, putting them in my bathtub or in my sink to defrost. We'll just go from the next step when we're getting ready to put these in the roasting pan. So I will see y'all in the next little clip in this video. Let me pop back in here just a second real quick. Let me show y'all something else I do with these tomatoes. As I'm going through them, we have found some things that we love to do with these, and my granddaughters have found some things they love to do with these things. They love to just come by through here and just kind of like swipe one and just giggle as they run off eating it. Okay, if I can have tomatoes on the counter long enough, I might have some. But they have discovered that they just love taking one of these or one of these little ones like this and cutting the tip off and then just sneaking and eating it. Or they want it as like with their lunch or with their supper when I fix them some. Y'all, that's another vegetable. So I will go through here and I will pick some out and I'll put them in a mason jar and put them in the refrigerator, or if they're sitting out here, they'll come and get about 15 or 20, take off with them. That's okay. They're getting a vegetable. So another thing that I like to do is I will hold some back for a meal. Y'all, we have discovered another good side dish for fresh tomatoes. You take these little tomatoes, you cut them in half, put them on a sheet pan. You can put them half side down where the skins are up, or however you want it, or because you're going to flip them halfway through anyway. But we will cut them in half like that, y'all. Put them on a lined baking sheet. Olive oil, minced fresh garlic or minced garlic in the jar, oregano, Italian seasoning, granulate or onion powder. You can do garlic salt or garlic powder. But y'all, drizzle them babies up, put those Italian seasonings on them, put them in your oven and roast them. It has become a favorite side dish of ours. And that is strange coming from me because I only like tomatoes like after they have been cooked, like in ketchup or salsa or spaghetti sauce or something like that. I've never just sat down and just ate a roasted tomato. And y'all, another thing we did one night is we took some of those roasted tomatoes and we made a tomato and basil and mozzarella cheese pizza. The heavens were singing the praises, let me tell you. That was the awesomest pizza I've ever had. I made the homemade pizza crust. We put some spaghetti sauce down, but not much because I didn't want to take away from the flavor of the roasted tomato when you bit into it. So just a very light, okay? And then I did, what else? What else did I do? Oh yeah, we took some fresh mozzarella from the grocery store and we kind of like diced it up or chunked it up. And I kind of stretched it just a little bit. I'm not talking about shredded mozzarella, and I'm not talking about the block cheese. I'm talking about the fresh mozzarella, okay? That's in like still the same section with the cheeses, but it's not that Walmart brand and the block cheese that you shred. No, I'm talking about fresh mozzarella cheese. And then we took some fresh basil and then drizzled in olive oil, minced garlic, you name it, y'all. We loaded this pizza up and then we baked the pizza, and y'all, it didn't take long. That pizza was gone. So that is some more things that we do when I'm doing these tomatoes. I'll pick out some and use for different things. Yes, and you can still have your mater sandwich. Okay, I'll see y'all in the next part. Well, I said I wasn't going to show y'all this part, but here you go. This is how many I had in the freezer saved up to start roasting these tomatoes with. So I'm putting these out the day before, and I've just got them all in my tub. Now, this is not counting what I'm fixing to go pick today either. So when I go pick today, I'll have some more, and those are going to get just thrown in there with these after they get thawed out, and we'll start the roasting process. Okay, y'all, it is the next day, and all of these have defrosted, and I am fixing to take these in the kitchen, open up these bags, put them in a strainer, strain the water out, and dump them over into a roasting pan. And then I have another roasting pan in here, and I'll show you the tomatoes I've got to do in just a minute. But these are fixing to get strained and get the water out of them, and then I will put them in a roasting pan. Okay, I wound up having 2 roasting pans full, this one and this one. I already have the seasonings in this one, and I'll show you those in just a second. And it's already starting to roast down. I have just filled this one up, and we'll get it to going. This is the seasonings that we're using. Y'all, we do not have measurements because we just tested this. And this is the first batch we're ever making like this, using all these seasonings and processing them this way. So I don't have measurements, but what you can do is you can start out with small increments of measurements, taste test as you go, add more if you need to of whatever that you like. But we've got olive oil, minced garlic, oregano, Italian ground sumac, kosher sea salt, and I took some of our black peppercorns and ran them through the coffee grinder so that way I could have more shakeable pepper. So that's pretty much what we've got. And I still have tomatoes left in my sink. So I'm going to be having more batches to do for another day. I honestly did not know I was going to have tomatoes left over. I thought all this whole picking was going to fit in these 2 roasting pans, but looks like I'm going to have another sauce making day. So we are going to get these started roasting, and we're going to roast them pretty heavily up until bedtime. Just keep stirring and things like that. At bedtime, we're going to cut these down onto simmer and let them simmer and cook down some more through the night on the lowest temperature. Then in the morning, we will get to the next step. Oh, good morning, y'all. It is the next morning, and I am wanting to get started on these tomatoes, getting them processed. For number one, I need to hurry up and do this so I can have my kitchen for supper time tonight. It's a mess in here, okay? And then number two, we've got a school run this afternoon, going in when school's out, picking up grandchildren, and they're going to spend the night with us. So I need my kitchen cleaned. I need all these tomatoes processed, and we'll see how many we can get today, and then I can get my kitchen clean and be ready for this evening, because I'm going to have to help with homework this evening when they get in, and yeah, then get supper going. So we're all going to be piled up in the kitchen again tonight. So I need my kitchen clean, so we're going to get started with this morning. I am going to show y'all the sauce this morning. Well, as soon as we got up this morning, we turned the roasters off. They've simmered just like we want them. They've cooked down to the consistency that we want, and we cut the roasters off so the sauce can be cooling down, because I don't want to puree up scalding tomatoes, okay? And I want it to be a little safer, so we're letting them come down just a little bit, and then we will get set up and get my blender out and everything. But I'll show you what they look like. They cooked down. They've still got just a little bit of liquid, but that's okay. It's the consistency that we want, because they're going to get pureed in the blender. All right, let me show you the next one. That's one roaster. I don't know how many jars I'll have this morning, y'all, but I think I'm going to be doing this most of the day. What I did last night was, before we went to bed, I grabbed a bunch of jars and I loaded up my dishwasher. So my jars have been washed, sterilized, sanitized, because I have a feature on my dishwasher. And I'm going to be setting them up this morning, get my water bath canner out, and start getting me an assembly line going here. I'm probably going to have to go get some more jars, because I only had like 13 in here in my stash, and I think I'm going to have more than 13 jars. So let me get set up, let me get an assembly line going, and we'll get to the next process. Okay, y'all, I think I got everything set up. I am going to make a few disclaimers here. First, if you do not like the skins on your tomatoes or the way that we've done these, I don't know if I mentioned this, you might have to take the time to go through a process and scalding all these little bitty tomatoes and peeling the skins off, and then using them and throwing them in your roaster. But these kind of tomatoes are designed for 2 purposes. We chose them. They're like an Amish paste, where you can use the skins, and it adds a thickness to your sauce, makes your sauce thicker. Number 2, it's a lower acidic tomato, which we've started using because my husband is pre-diabetic, and diabetics deal with a little bit of gout every once in a while. And acidic food, strongly acidic foods aggravates people that suffer with gout, and this has proved to be a better tomato. Through the years, we have always used beefsteak or Better Boy or a tomato like that. You can still use the skins on those if you want to, but we've tried both versions. And at the end of this video, I will put in the end cards at the end of the video the 2 other ways that we use those tomatoes and we have processed tomatoes through the years. One way was just the old-timey way, coring each tomato, getting the stem section out, and then scalding each tomato and taking the skin off, and then throwing it over either in the blender or the roasting pan, whichever way I did it first. I think in the blender first, I went ahead and pureed the tomatoes up, then put them in the roasting pan, then added all of my seasonings and let that simmer overnight. Process number 2 was a couple of years later, 3 or 4 years later, when my husband bought me the food mill attachment for my KitchenAid stand mixer. That just made the process go that much quicker. I didn't have to I did core the tomatoes, but I didn't have to scald them and take the skins off. That food mill attachment did every bit of that work for us, and that cut out a bunch of steps. So that made our process go a little quicker. Y'all, each year that you can and preserve, you grow a garden, then you take that produce, can it, and preserve it, you're going to learn tweaks, faster ways, new methods, and that's good. And we've done that through the years. I've been doing this for about 15 years now, maybe 20. It's somewhere around in there, and I'm not going to reveal my age, okay? But over the years, we have learned things. We have bought things to make the process go a little quicker, and we've gotten more educated about the different variety of tomatoes, okay? So the Amish use the Amish paste and these tomatoes, okay, because they use the whole tomato, okay? So I'm doing the same thing. And then I have a video on processing roasted tomatoes, where I didn't turn them into sauce, but I took each one of these little tomatoes, skins and all, just cut them in half, threw them on a roasting pan with the same seasonings, and roasted them in the oven. And then when they came out, just took the tomatoes and jarred them up and then processed them to where I could have a flavored tomato that I can just throw in a recipe, soups or stews. Just gave me another option to use our tomatoes. So after this video, this is going to be 3 different ways to process tomatoes to turn into sauce that we're going to use for marinara sauce, spaghetti sauce. Y'all, I have taken some of my sauce and turned it into tomato soup and made some grilled cheese for supper. Dip it like breadsticks, whatever. It's my all-purpose pasta sauce. Okay? So this will be 3 different ways that you can process these tomatoes. So, and then another thing I want to say, I reuse these jars. There's nothing wrong with these jars. The little pop seal lids like this. Like ragu, presto, what's the other one? Ragu, presto, there's another one, y'all. Alfredo sauce jars. Anything that has these little pop-top lids. What I don't do is I do not use these in the pressure canner. I kind of don't trust them to pressure can foods. I only reuse these jars and these lids for anything that's getting water bath processed. So I can keep an eye on them. And I only use these jars maybe 2 times, and then I chunk them. If I start seeing that they're not sealing, I will toss the jar in the lid. So I've got my workstation here. I'm going to just start ladling sauce over here in my blender, tomatoes into my blender, pureeing them up. And a good thing about using the blender, y'all, it's got a pour spout. I'm not going to have to sit here and mess up another bowl and then get my ladle out and ladle in the jars. Blender, pour spout. We're going to take it from the blender and just start pouring in the jars. Okay, so I'm going to save myself a step. So I'm going to let you I'm going to show you how I'm going to do these just a little bit, and then I will finish the process, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, I'm going to start. And I already have prepared the water bather over there. I'm sorry if you can't see it. It's over there behind that white roaster. That one's full. I can't move it. And I've already got warm water started in there because I don't want to shock these jars because these are kind of warm. This is kind of warm. I need warm water. I don't want to shock my jars. So we are going to take, this is about a 2-cup portion, put here in my blender. And y'all, I'm probably going to have to get an apron on because I have a feeling I'm going to be tomatoey by the time I get done. I'm not going to fill it all the way full. And I'm just going to puree this up and start ladling it in jars. Probably excessive, y'all, but I just want to allow me time to get on my apron. I just wanted to make sure everything is pure. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to make sure that everything was blended in here really good because like I said, we've got skins and all in here. So y'all, I'm just going to take my blender. Once I figure out how to use this again, it's been a long time. Okay, there we go. That way. All right, and then I'm just going to start ladling my sauce in here. How simple is this? And you want to leave like a 1-inch headspace. And I'm having to use this funnel because my other one that comes with my canning kit, these have a little smaller rim around the edges. This one fits down in there better, and this was actually a metal milk strainer that I used for when I milked my goats. And I had to strain my milk. So this is actually like a milk filter, and I got just a little too much in that one. I need a spoon. Yes, I'm going to have jars. I'm going to have to clean. Okay, 1-inch headspace. Make sure you get those air bubbles out. It's hard to kind of debubble something pastasy or puree, but you can and get some of those air bubbles out. So I'm going to repeat this same process. Oh, y'all, the taste is there. I need to taste test just a little bit. Oh, sorry, y'all. Taste test just a little bit. I'll tell you what. Let me... That's there. I'll get hubby to taste test here in just a minute. He's taking care of cows. I will get him to taste test here in just a minute and see if he wants to add something. Whatever. Yes, that's good. The taste is there. Okay, I'm going to repeat the same process till I get all of these jars. And then I will, wipe your rims down to make sure nothing's going to interfere with the seal. Put my lids on, fingertip tight, and then we're going to have our water ready over here in the water bath to put them in there and start processing. It's going to smell like Italy up in here, and I just cannot wait. So we're going to go through 2 roasting panfuls. While these are processing, I'm probably going to have to go get me some more jars. So, because I think I'm going to have more than 13 jars. So that's what I'm going to get doing right now. And then once I get them over in there, I will show y'all the next step. I'm probably just going to sit here and eat me some. Okay. Okay, y'all, I got 7 jars already in here. My canner holds 7 jars in here. I have water covering the lids. I've got this on high, and I'm going to let it come to a rolling boil, and you process these quarts 40 minutes, pints 35 minutes, but these are not full quarts. They lack a few ounces being full quarts. So I'm going to do like in between, or I may just go ahead and do the complete 40 just to be on the safe side. So as soon as this comes to a rolling boil, I'm going to cover and process for 40 minutes. All right, y'all, it's been 40 minutes and these are ready to come out, and that's hot. That's hot. Okay, I'm going to take these out of the water, set them over here to start cooling a little, and then I should start hearing some pops, and then I'm just going to repeat the process as I'm filling up more jars, and some are processing. I have already prepared jars of sauce down here in my oven on a warm cycle to keep the jars warm with the sauce in it before I put the new jars in the hot water, because I don't want to shock them and bust them and sauce, just gonna go everywhere. So I'm still doing my assembly line. I've got prepared jars. When I get them prepared, I'm putting them in here to get them warmed up. I'm fixing to take some out of here, put into here, and just keep this process going till all these jars are done. When all my jars are done, I'll let you see how many I got and what they look like. Okay, y'all, 29 jars later, and I have pasta sauce. I have already put the ones up that have sealed and cooled into the pantry. These are the ones that are left. I wound up with 29 jars. Happy canning, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's been helpful to you. See you in the next video.